Hi, it's Rich here. Thanks to AG1 for sponsoring this episode of 1865, the Nottingham Forest podcast. If you haven't heard, AG1 is a comprehensive and convenient blend of over 70 high-quality ingredients, and it's so easy to drink. The first thing I do when I get up in the morning is add a scoop of AG1 to some cold water, give it a shake and drink. It's as easy as that, and it's now part of my morning ritual. As the new year gets underway, I like the fact that AG1 is one of the easiest things I can do for my health. AG1 contains vitamins and nutrients to support my immune system and key minerals and natural ingredients to help me maintain my energy levels and focus. As AG1 is a more-in-one supplement, it's so much simpler than stocking up on lots of different types of vitamins and supplements, and a really easy way to support a healthier lifestyle, especially as we're coming out of the gluttony of Christmas. 1 scoop of AG1 per day supports energy, digestive regularity, immune defence and a healthy mood, so I'll be ready to take on whatever 2025 has in store for me. Looking to give AG1 a shot? Subscribe now and get a free bottle of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first subscription. Go to drinkag1.com/1865 and get started today. That's drinkag1.com/1865.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Upgrade your business with Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning fewer carts going abandoned and more sales going cha-ching. So if you're into growing your business, get a commerce platform that's ready to sell wherever your customers are. Visit shopify.com to upgrade your selling today.
If you're a maintenance supervisor for a commercial property, you've had to deal with everything from leaky faucets to flickering light bulbs. But nothing's worse than that ancient boiler that's lived in the building since the day it was built, 50 years ago. It's enough to make anyone lose their cool. That's where Grainger comes in. With industrial-grade products and dependable fast delivery, Grainger can help with any challenge, from worn-out components to everyday necessities. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hello and welcome to 1865, the Nottingham Forest podcast. It's Friday, the 10th of January, and that means it's time for Friday 5. This is where we take a look at the top stories that have been making the news at the City Ground over the last week. I'm Stephen Toplis. In a moment, we'll be joined by the Maradona of the Midlands, but first, let's go over to Jamie Martin at the 1865 news desk.
Hi, this is Jamie Martin with this week's top 5 Forest stories from the 1865 news desk. Now, the headline to this week's news is positive, and it is to do with Murillo's new contract. Now, according to new reports from Sky Sports this week, Nottingham Forest are close to signing Murillo up to a new contract. Now, reports emerged before the game against Wolves on Monday night that the club and representatives of the Brazilian defender had started negotiations over a new deal. Amid interest from top sides from top leagues, Forest now find that this is the best time to go for a new contract. And of course, they are in the best form for decades, so now is the time to get contracts done. The club is said to have a broad agreement with Murillo and could sign his contract in the next days, or Murillo could sign his next contract in the coming days, in a deal which will increase his wages, not include a release clause, according to Sky Germany, and keep him at the club beyond 2028. The club have also triggered an extension on Ola Aina's contract by a year, according to Sky, and are working on a new deal for him. Chris Wood's new contract is making positive steps and could be agreed in the coming weeks. Now, the second piece of news, Forest have won their 6th straight game for the first time since 1967. After a huge victory against Wolves, Forest have now won their 6th game on the bounce, their best form in decades. Now, the last time Forest had a run form this good was back in 1967, before many current Forest fans were born, certainly before I was born. With Nuno at the helm, Forest are setting new records consistently, with this just another to add to the collection. Forest's next Premier League game comes against Liverpool. The last time the two played, a superb curled effort from Callum Hudson-Odoi saw Forest win at Anfield for the first time since 1969. The win against Wolves also saw Taiwo Awoniyi score his first goal this season, a huge moment for him. The third piece of news, Forest women beat Burnley in huge victory. Now, another week, another win for Nottingham Forest women's team as they beat Burnley by 1-0. The game, which took place in the Women's FA Cup, showcased top of the table Forest versus third place Burnley, a huge showdown for a third round of the Cup. Now, Forest women once again showed their desire to be successful in every aspect, with great form in the league, and now the Cup, with striker Mel Johnson describing the club's pursuit of success as ruthless within the women's game. Now, Forest not so long ago made the women's team full-time, which, considering Forest are in the third division of women's football, shows the intent from the club to provide and improve its women's side. Now, a huge step in the right direction there, and congratulations to the Forest women's team who are doing fantastically at the moment. Now, the fourth piece of news, referee appointments for the Liverpool match have been confirmed. The referees from game week 21 have been confirmed by the PGMOL via the Premier League website. For Nottingham Forest home game against Liverpool, referee Chris Kavanagh will oversee the fixture, with many fans being happy about his appointment for the game. Kavanagh oversaw Forest win against Sheffield United in May, with one red card given to Ahmed Odzic, and more recently the club's draw against Chelsea in October. Now, the final piece of news, Nottingham Forest is set to complete the sale of academy graduate Aaron Donnelly. Donnelly, who spent time on loan at Dundee United before a spell at Colchester, is set to head back to Scotland and return to Dundee on a permanent basis. He initially left the club midway through the season due to his injury while on loan. However, the Scottish side did keep their eyes on him and are now set to secure him on a permanent basis. He was recalled from his loan at Colchester and therefore will now head up to Scotland, where he signs for them on a permanent basis. More updates on transfers in general to come though, but all at the 1865 podcast would like to wish well to Aaron, all the best with his career, which we are very sure will be bright and successful. Now, that is the latest though from the 1865 news desk. I'm Jamie Martin. Be sure to catch up with me on Twitter, or X as it's now known, via @I'mJamieMartin. Nottingham Forest updates and all related news to the club throughout the week. And so we'll see you soon. Take care. See you next week.
Thanks, Jamie, for bringing us those stories. Let's have a look at them in more detail now with the Maradona of the Midlands. Hello and welcome.
Stephen, hi.
Great to have you with us again. And the first story, a positive story. Forest are extending or looking to extend the contracts of key players, most notably Murillo. Sky report that he is close to signing a new contract with Forest. The club and his representatives have started talks on a new deal. It could be signed and sealed in the coming days. That will mean a wages increase, no release clause, and most importantly, would keep him at Forest beyond 2028. Your reaction to that, Maradona?
Well, if we can agree, sorry, excuse me, I'm choking up with the emotion of it all. If we can keep him, it would be really fantastic news. If we can get him on a new long-term contract. He's got quite a long contract anyway. I think it's till 2028. But if we can keep him on contract for longer on improved terms, it'll be a sign of our progress, I think. And it'd just be tantalising thought to think of the likes of Murillo and Olarena and Milenkovic and Morgan Gibbs-White and all the other great players we've got sort of sticking around for 2, 3, 4 years, because they're all young players yet. And to think if they're still playing here when they're in their peak, how good we could be is an exciting thought.
And extending contracts when you're in a position of strength like Forest are at the moment on such a good run, it's good to see the club being so proactive. They've already triggered the extension for Olarina's contract by a year, working on a new deal for him as well, fully deserved following his form this season. He is one of the best fullbacks in the league at the moment, and I think it's vital Forest keep hold of him. And Chris Wood as well, a new contract for him could be agreed in the next few weeks, which again is deserved. Chris Wood has turned into a talisman for us. His goals have been so crucial, and he's in the form. It feels like he's in the form of his life under Nuno at the moment.
He does. I mean, he looks in tremendous condition. He looks really fit. He doesn't look like a striker who's been playing at the top end of English football for probably 10, 12 years, and probably even longer now. I remember when Fawaz was knocking around in the mid-noughties or wherever it was. He was, it wasn't that long ago. It wasn't that long ago. It's sort of a bit later than that.
I remember a young Chris Wood putting the nail in Steve McLaren's coffin. Yes,
and I think he was occasionally linked with us in those days as well. It was a source of regret that we never signed him. But he's tremendous. I mean, he doesn't do a great deal when he's not scoring goals. It's not like he's holding it up and creating loads of chance for other players. But give him a chance in front of goal, and he's deadly, and he's sort of a huge part of why we're doing so well. The Olarena one's going to be the tricky one to secure long term, because Liverpool are going to be looking for a right back. Man City are going to be looking for a right back, and they'd be mad not to consider going for Olarena. He's, in my opinion, clearly the best right back in the country, and they'd be mad not to. So it's going to take a great deal of persuasion and a very hefty checkbook to keep him, I feel, long term. But I hope we can.
The other advantage of signing players onto new contracts like this, particularly players who other clubs might be looking at now because of Forest's great form, is that it locks value in as well. It means that should a club approach Forest and that player wants to leave, the club who want to buy him will need to offer more money to get him out of Forest. And my first thought is Murillo. That probably increases his value to Forest should a big team come knocking. And it's just sensible business, isn't it, where you can, to keep your valued players on contracts and not allow them to run down or to get into a position where you could end up losing them for less than they're worth.
Yeah, that's right. And it's cheaper to retain players than to sign new ones. If you're bringing somebody, you're either paying them a hefty signing on fee if it's a free transfer and then bumper wages, or if somebody is under contract at another club, you're having to pay a transfer fee. So as many of the outgoings as we can cut down, the stronger we'll be in a financial position. I mean, it's crazy to think that clubs like Manchester United are struggling to buy players because of the FFP or whatever it's called now rules. They're sort of trying to get their young players off the books, maybe Rashford. And it's mad that clubs of that size, with the sort of global reach they have and the global possibilities of making money, they're struggling. So for us to be competing at this level is astonishing, really. It's really astonishing.
I just mentioned it not long ago, how good Forest's form has been. And this links in with the next story that Jamie brought us. Forest winning 6 on the bounce. Monday night's victory at Wolves means that Nottingham Forest have won 6 games in a row in the top flight for the first time since the 1966-67 season. That was the year that Forest finished runners-up in the First Division to that great Manchester United team, which included Best, Law and Charlton, among others. Forest are in incredible form at the moment, and Nuno's team are making history, and it's great to see.
It is. I mean, I remember you and I became experts of watching Championship football, and one of the phrases I always used to bring up in our podcast, all those years we did a hard graft or apprenticeship down in the Championship, was it's really hard to win 6 games in a row in the Championship, because you don't often go on a run of 2, 3, 4 games. But even then, you think, well, it's really hard. You've won 3 in a row. You're not going to win the 4th one. You're probably going to draw or lose that one. So to keep on winning in the Premier League, I've said it before, it's astonishing. We shouldn't really be surprised, because the evidence in front of us, the evidence of our own eyes, is that we're a really good team. I was thinking there sort of earlier on in the season, maybe a little bit prematurely before the Fulham game, thinking, I can't see anybody beating us this season. We look so in control of how we play, at a method of playing. We look strong in every single position. It just looked to me like we just won't lose very many matches. And even now, you sort of when you go and play teams like Everton away and Wolves away, that old sort of nagging doubt still comes into you. Oh, we're going to get done on a set piece and lose it 1-0. Oh, Wolves, they're our bogey team. Molineux's our bogey stadium. They're going to flukily beat us. But he deservedly won in the end against Wolves. And we totally outplayed Everton at their place. And we should do, because we're a good team. We're the 3rd best team in the country at the moment. And, if we can steer clear of a few injuries, I think we will stay up there for the rest of the season.
And it's Liverpool up next for Forest in the league, probably their toughest test of the season so far. it's going to be a top of the table clash, dare I say, a title clash if things go the right way. And it's an opportunity for Forest again to make a bit of history, make it potentially 7 wins in a row. They've beaten Liverpool already this season. Who's to say in front of a City ground crowd that they can't do it again?
Yeah, it's the archetypal 6-pointer. Win it, we're only 3 points behind them, with them having a game in hand, but breathing down their necks. I was gutted when Man U didn't beat them at the weekend. It would have been down to 2 points if we beat them, and the pressure really would have been on them. They would have been sort of sweating up at Anfield with the red machine of Nottingham Forest breathing down behind their necks. But yeah, a 6-pointer. Lose it, we're sort of 9 points behind, and it's the title race, you have to say, is probably over. But yeah, we've got every chance. We've got every chance. Liverpool, I watched them against Tottenham. Didn't look very good, I have to say. Looks a little bit tired and leggy. Didn't look very good against Man U either. So, I don't know. In the old days, you say, oh, you don't want to play Liverpool when they've lost a game because they'd come back and spank you. So hopefully they've not picked up that trait from the great teams of the 80s. But yeah, I can't see why not. We've got a good chance. It's going to be the crowd is going to be really up for it. The atmosphere is going to be sizzling hot. The players can see the prize. It's right in front of them. You've got something to aim for. Why wouldn't you want to go out and beat Liverpool? Yeah, I mean, they've got fantastic players all over the pitch, but yeah, we can do it. We can beat them.
Absolutely. And I don't have anything else to add to that. That is the positivity we want to hear ahead of the Liverpool game. Forest, of course, play Luton in the FA Cup before then on the weekend. But with respect to Luton, I think most Forest eyes are looking ahead to that Liverpool match on Tuesday night and dreaming of what potentially could be. Let's go on to our next story. That is Nottingham Forest women beating Burnley 1-0 in the third round of the Adobe Women's FA Cup. And in doing so, they will play Championship side Newcastle in the next round on Sunday. Charlie Wellings gave Forest the winning goal, which saw off Burnley in a first versus third clash. And in the end, Maradona, Forest came out on top. And it always seems to be when we talk about Forest women, they're going along great, and this brilliant season that they're having continues, albeit now it's in the cup as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's always they've had their sort of mini winter break, so there's always that concern that maybe a bit of rustiness would have crept into their game, that they wouldn't maybe continue that great momentum from before Christmas, but they picked up where they left off, and like the men's team, they keep on trucking.
Let's now hear a bit more about the game. With a report, here's Adam. And now let's hear a little bit more about that result for Forest women. With a report, here's Adam.
So, a game of two very evenly matched teams that were both, well, in our pre-season report, we said that these two teams would be the top two teams in the league, met in the cup. Now, we had a very similar game, actually, to the game that was at the City Ground earlier in the season, when these two teams met in the league. Very cagey, two teams that were very evenly matched. But Forest just really struggled to get going in this game, having a lot of the possession, not really doing an awful lot with it, unfortunately. There was a couple of chances in the first half, but nothing really of note. Second half comes along, Freya Thomas, who I thought was excellent on the day. I think probably my woman of the match here. She had a really, really good mazy run and had a shot on target, which the Burnley keeper made a really smart save. Then we went into extra time. We had 30 minutes of extra time. And really, again, Forest looked probably the better side without creating too much until Charlie Wellings stroked home a really well-taken finish to put the Reds in front. And that one goal was enough. It was the sort of game that looked like it was going to be one goal will be enough. And it absolutely was. Thoroughly enjoyable 0-0, though, in fairness, without an awful lot of goal-mouth chances. Forest will now travel to Newcastle away, which will be a really, really tough game for the Reds, but will be a very good test to see, a bit of a litmus test, if you will, to see where this team is and where they're going to be. So that's going to be a very exciting fixture up in the northeast.
Thanks to AG1 for sponsoring this episode of 1865, the Nottingham Forest podcast. If you haven't heard, AG1 is a comprehensive and convenient blend of over 70 high-quality ingredients, and it's so easy to drink. The first thing I do when I get up in the morning is add a scoop of AG1 to some cold water, give it a shake and drink. It's as easy as that, and it's now part of my morning ritual. As the new year gets underway, I like the fact that AG1 is one of the easiest things I can do for my health. AG1 contains vitamins and nutrients to support my immune system and key minerals and natural ingredients to help me maintain my energy levels and focus. As AG1 is a more-in-one supplement, it's so much simpler than stocking up on lots of different types of vitamins and supplements, and a really easy way to support a healthier lifestyle, especially as we're coming out of the gluttony of Christmas. 1 scoop of AG1 per day supports energy, digestive regularity, immune defence and a healthy mood, so I'll be ready to take on whatever 2025 has in store for me. Looking to give AG1 a shot? Subscribe now and get a free bottle of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first subscription. Go to drinkag1.com/1865 and get started today. That's drinkag1.com/1865.
The NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 plus and present in select states. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You're listening to 1865, the Nottingham Forest podcast.
Our next story looks ahead again to the Liverpool game, and it's that Chris Kavanagh has been appointed the referee for this game. Kavanagh's previous Forest matches have included the away win at Sheffield United last season and the draw with Chelsea earlier this season. Now, I think we've gone well beyond the point of looking at referees and talking about referees how we used to. Thankfully, they've kept themselves out of the limelight this season, certainly where Forest are concerned. I don't think many people have got too many complaints with Chris Kavanagh, have they?
No, I think he's a remarkably uncontroversial choice. So let's hope. I always say a referee's had a good game if you haven't noticed them. So let's hope we won't notice him during the game. He gets everything right, and VAR doesn't play the big team in Liverpool. Let's hope they play it a straight bat and give us both a good chance at winning the game.
Our final story from Jamie is transfer news, and this is that Forest Academy graduate Aaron Donnelly is to leave the club. He's going to move to Dundee on a permanent deal. He was on loan with the Scottish Premiership side last season. He made 21 appearances for them in the second half of the 23-24 campaign. This season he's been on loan with Colchester United in League Two, and he's made 22 appearances for them. The 21-year-old is somebody who has come through the ranks at Forest. He's highly rated, Northern Ireland international as well. He made his debut in November last year. But it looks like his time at Forest is over, and quite frankly, with the riches that Forest have in the squad at the moment, it doesn't look like there'll be a place for Donnelly, and he's going to move on and rejoin Dundee. It feels like the right move for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's the standard we're playing at now. A young player's going to have to be really, really exceptional to ever break through. It's not like being in the Championship where sometimes you just needed bodies. There's so many games, week in, week out, playing 2 games, that you just needed a few young players knocking around just to fill up the bench, to come on in an emergency. The lack of games in the Premier League means there's not such a pressing need for that now. And yeah, it's really hard for any of the young players to break through. We had that situation where Ryan Yates has been the only academy player in the squad for most of this season. So I think it might be a bit of a taste of the future what happens to our young players, and obviously the whole financial aspect of the 100% pure profit of selling a youth team player, even if it's only for a small amount of money. It all adds up to the PSR, FFP, whichever letters you want to use, balance and helps us out financially. So, yeah, good luck to him. Hope he does well up there.
Let's have a look at another bit of positive news surrounding Forest. And again, it comes off the back of the club's great form. Morgan Gibbs-White has been nominated for December's Premier League Player of the Month award. And the winner will be revealed next week. Fans had until 12 o'clock on Monday to vote for Gibbs-White or whoever they fancied. Gibbs-White is in the reckoning after a great month where he's been involved with 5 Forest goals, contributing a goal or assist in 4 of his 6 appearances in December. He's in the shortlist alongside Trent Alexander-Arnold, Dean Hyson, Alexander Isak, Jacob Murphy, Cole Palmer, Anthony Robinson and Mohamed Salah. Esteemed company for Morgan Gibbs-White and fully deserved recognition again for him.
Yeah, I think it's one of those situations where the nomination really is the award in itself, because to be named amongst that cohort of players, the likes of Salah and Isak, who had such great periods of play last few weeks, it's going to be very difficult to actually win the award for Morgan, although it would be richly deserved if he did. He fully deserves it. He's just stepped up his game a little bit, I think, this season. A bit more consistent, adding the assists and the goals, which sometimes when he first came to Forest he didn't have, but which was understandable. It was his first real season in the Premier League and we were playing in a struggling team. The benefit of us winning every week is that the confidence grows in the players, and that helps them play better, and that means we win more matches, which means their confidence grows even more, and we win even more matches, and they play better. So it's a positive feedback loop we're trapped in now, rather than the negative one we often experienced in the past. So good luck to him. Nuno's been nominated for the Managers Award again.
He has, yeah. You took the words out of my mouth. So
I don't know if we want him to win it this time, because after he won it last time, we lost a couple of games, didn't we? So
we did,
the old Manager of the Month curse is still alive and well.
Let's hope Arnie Slot gets it.
Yes. I was just going to say, it's just recognition of how well the team are doing. And I know managers say, it's not about me. It's about the team. And this time, because we're witnessing it in front of our very own eyes, you can really see it is about the whole group of players and the coaching staff. It's all working like a well-oiled machine, and it's just recognition for everybody at the club.
Yeah, and from Nuno's point of view, he's looking to win the award for the second time in 3 months, having won it in October. And it would be the 6th time in his career that he's won Premier League Manager of the Month, if it does happen. In December, he took Forest to 2nd in the Premier League for the first time since 1994. 5 wins from 6 matches and 3 consecutive clean sheets. The stats are great. Forest are great. We're enjoying it at the moment, flying high in the Premier League, and who knows how far this team can go. He's in the reckoning alongside Eddie Howe of Newcastle, Andoni Iraola of Bournemouth, and Arnie Slot of Liverpool. Let's hope Slot gets it before Tuesday night. That might help Forest just a little bit. Fans again had until 12 o'clock on Monday to select their favourite. The supporters' votes will be combined with those of a panel of football experts to decide the winner, and that will also be revealed next week. But great to see Nuno and Morgan Gibbs-White and Forest as a whole getting national recognition for the great work that's going on at Forest at the moment. And finally, some breaking news which came out after we had our roundup from Jamie. It's that Danilo is set to make his return for Forest against Luton in the FA Cup this weekend. The Brazilian midfielder hasn't played since breaking his ankle on the opening day of the season against Bournemouth. And according to John Percy, he will be included in Saturday's squad. Danilo is a popular member of the side, popular with the Forest fans, and it's another boost at a crucial time of the season to potentially get Danilo back on the field.
Yeah, it's fantastic news. Well, when he got injured in that first game of the season against Bournemouth, it was really a terrible shame and shock for everybody. We really didn't know the extent of the injury. Once they start putting those sheets around people, you sort of fear the worst. But thankfully, it's not proved to be as serious as it looked at the time. And he's done really well to sort of get back in contention so quickly. And it'll be fantastic to see him again. He's just ready, fit and firing and back for our title push with a bit of luck. Chipping in with a few goals between now and the end of the season, just to push us over the edge and pip Liverpool to the title. Why not, eh? Why not? Come on.
That's the spirit. I like that. So that brings us to an end to this week's Friday 5. My thanks to Jamie Martin for providing the stories. Thanks also to the Maradona of the Midlands. Thank you for listening. We will be back with our match report after the Luton game on Saturday. And then, of course, it's on to Liverpool. Until then, thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks to AG1 for sponsoring this episode of 1865, the Nottingham Forest podcast. If you haven't heard, AG1 is a comprehensive and convenient blend of over 70 high-quality ingredients, and it's so easy to drink. The first thing I do when I get up in the morning is add a scoop of AG1 to some cold water, give it a shake and drink. It's as easy as that, and it's now part of my morning ritual. As the new year gets underway, I like the fact that AG1 is one of the easiest things I can do for my health. AG1 contains vitamins and nutrients to support my immune system and key minerals and natural ingredients to help me maintain my energy levels and focus. As AG1 is a more-in-one supplement, it's so much simpler than stocking up on lots of different types of vitamins and supplements, and a really easy way to support a healthier lifestyle, especially as we're coming out of the gluttony of Christmas. 1 scoop of AG1 per day supports energy, digestive regularity, immune defence and a healthy mood, so I'll be ready to take on whatever 2025 has in store for me. Looking to give AG1 a shot? Subscribe now and get a free bottle of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first subscription. Go to drinkag1.com/1865 and get started today. That's drinkag1.com/1865.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.